Welcome to another episode of Hot Topic with Copville and Dominic Izzo. It's Wednesday. It's 7 p.m. Eastern. Let's get ready to rumble. Good evening, Dom.
Share this video or you're a communist.
Dominic.
Thank you. It's not my
Sorry.
name.
I
My name.
was going to get into what you did, and I said that, and I remember you corrected. I know, Dominic. It's kind of like my mom with me. You can't call me Mike in front of my mother.
That's just the same thing. So I was talking to Rachel about this last night. I literally said, there's only a handful of people who can call me that. And you and Tyler can, I don't mind that at all. But
yeah, I say it to you personally, but I know online, out of courtesy, you want to be called Dominic. So I call myself. But yes, I get called Dick. Well, you get called Dick Hellett too, I'm sure, names like that. But in front of my mother, I always said that to the news whenever I was in trouble and the news wanted to quote me or something. I said, just please, you can trash me all day, say I was a bad cop. Just call me Michael, please, because my mom's going to be watching. So let me get through these first comments. If you ain't first, you're last. Guess I'm last. Yo, Mike's right. Dominic's wrong. We all know that. Right. Yo, what's up, Mike and Dom? Happy to be here. Thank you so much, Brady.
Make sure you share.
Kenny here. Make sure you share it. I'm gonna do a video. That's what I started to say about Kenny. Officer discretion, you mean when cops choose what laws they want to enforce and what laws they don't? That's a good topic. We're going to get onto that. We're going to get to that. That's going to be our topic of the night. We're kind of going to run this like anti-hero. Our topic of the night is going to be discretion. We're going to shoot the shit about some things. I just watched a really cool reel with Dominic before. I want to talk to him about it. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Here's when I know they lost. If you saw my comment, when he starts talking about your earrings and shit, they lost.
He opened up with that, but it is what it is.
I didn't see the opening. I saw the ending. So I guess
I did.
And this probably impromptu kind of popped up.
Well, here's the deal. Anybody who knows, and you guys have graciously said this before, I will debate anyone. And there's a lot of times where I've done it in the past where people who are of a different ethnicity will ask me about me being a racist, and I've gone, let's go live. And it's on my channel. It's got documented proof. I'll debate anyone. I believe going live is the proper thing because it shows that you can't edit. It's unscripted, all this stuff. So there's that. Number two, I never throw the first punch. I will argue, but I will never get personal. When you get personal, I believe you, your wife, and your children are fair game. If you talk about me, I will include your fucking kids in the insult. Everybody. I do not care. I will go as hard as possible. My goal when I hit back is I borderline want to get somebody thinking, maybe I shouldn't admit this. I'm just saying in jest about swallowing a bottle of pills at night. I want them reevaluating their life. So there was a 20-year cop who's been trolling in my content for the last probably 2-3 years. And because he didn't like my position on the Ray Good shooting, started to get personal, right? And it's like, dude, I have no problem with it. And you will see, I do engage in comments, not on YouTube, because YouTube is actually, I've said it a million times, I'm very impressed with the comments on YouTube, but Facebook and Instagram, most of the people on there get personal. Fine, fuck you, I'll get personal back. You're a small town cop who hasn't worked. Some guy told me, here's an example. Guy the other day said that I worked in a town that was so small. He worked in a town that had the same number of people in roll call as I policed. And I said, no, you mistook that for the gangbangs that you used to have run on you. That's an example, right?
That's mild too.
I don't get to that point until you want my attention. So an ex-cop, Joseph Marion from the East Coast, who's been arrested twice, fired twice, has been saying, I'm a piece of shit. I'm too afraid to debate anybody. Fine. You won't debate cops or ex-cops. That's clearly not the case. I've got it up online, all my stuff on there. So I said, hey, here's the link. I'm opening up my Zoom in 20 minutes. And we went live. Now, you could talk about what you want. I just want to set the stage.
No,
I'm still recovering. My brain cells are still recovering from that debate.
That was today, earlier?
That was 90 minutes ago.
So what I noticed, and in the clip you posted, you guys were going back and forth. You're asking questions. You're, as always, when you debate, you don't scream and yell. You don't get wild. That's what some people I think will happen. You're much like me. I'm more likely to be wild and stuff when we're shooting the shit in a regular episode or broadcast. But when it's time to talk, I try to keep, and Tyler makes fun of me on my podcast because I kind of bring it down to here, but I want to maintain that environment to debate. I don't want to scream and yell at each other, but I know, but what I saw, you gave him a couple back and forths, but then the part that stuck out to me was the slick comment about your earrings, which goes back to nothing to do with the issue, just personal attack about your appearance. And then what I thought was interesting was the TRT comment that you are insinuating you're giving medical advice, like illegally as a doctor, pretending to be a doctor. You're giving medical advice by saying men over 40 should be on testosterone. And I was thinking, well, we do an ad every morning for HP-TRT for our sponsor. Is he insinuating that we're like illegally giving out advice to people to have TRT?
Because he lost
beta. He looked very beta.
Yeah.
You hit him with you could use TRT, your estrogen's way up.
You should look into it. That's it. But here was my maybe you can help clarify, because this was my question and he couldn't answer. He talked, I don't know why he brought it up, but he brought up the content about the wife saying, go baby, drive. So I asked, what does that have to do anything? And he said, well, that doesn't prove her intent. And yeah, that's right. So then we went down the path, because we said this last week on your show, the shooting is lawful. Is it a bad shoot? I don't like it at all. And it's very easy to hide behind that. The law can make it so that somebody could say, fuck this lesbian, I'm Christian, I'm going to murder her. And he says that in his head, and the law will cover him. It is.
Yeah, he could have sent, and I don't disagree. And this is where things get all twisted. If he had, for the sake of that argument, if he had ill intentions, like I'm going to get me one of these dumb lesbian fucking weirdos, he can walk in front of every car from now until the day it happens. And when they finally pull forward enough, he can go bang, bang, bang and say, hey, she tried to run me over. We debated it. We both agree. I don't think he's guilty of anything. I think it's not the greatest. I said I would not want to be, that would not be the one in my family tree that goes, granddaddy got him one. That would not be the one. I'd rather be like a hostage shot of a child molester or somebody holding a woman hostage with a knife and have the cool. And they're not all like that. Would I want it to be mine? No. Is he going to get in trouble for it? Absolutely not. By the letter of the law, he can do what he did. And that's where the debate starts. Is it the best option?
This is my question, and maybe I'm fucked up in the head and stupid, but if she intended, right, if we can go back in time and get involved in Renee Good's head, and she intended to hit the ICE agent, did she hit the ICE agent?
She did. I mean,
if we can go back in time and say, ooh, she didn't intend to, after all, she was intending to flee, but in the course of fleeing, she hit the ICE agent. Did she hit the ICE agent?
She did. No matter what, she hit the ICE agent.
Literally on the fucking debate, this 20-year cop, I said, option A, she intends to fight him and drives into hitting him. Yes. I said option B, her intent is to flee, but in the process of her fleeing, she hit him. Yeah. No, there's only option A. I'm like, I'm fucking done.
I heard that part. I
gotta be done.
Yeah, I saw that. And that's where I kind of, and that's where Kenny, when I brought Kenny up earlier, he clipped a video talking about me and saying, and I'm probably guilty of this, and you probably were as well. You came out of the job under a shitty circumstance, and you probably acted out back towards the job. Like, fuck these guys. We talk about the brotherhood. We both enjoyed the shit out of being cops, though. Very different policing methods, very different careers, very different views, even like we're going to talk about tonight about policing, but we both thoroughly enjoyed being cops. We probably both hold some resentment towards the job, kind of like the Grinch when his shoes were too tight and his heart shrunk 3 sizes, and he was miserable because he didn't get invited to Christmas. And I'm going to cover that because just like you did a lot of great things as a cop. I know you did, and so did I. But we don't really focus or talk about that anymore. And
there's no point.
Yeah, and to Kenny's thing, I'm going to tie it into how it ended up anyway, like where I ended up at the end of it.
And I was never salty in the beginning. I actually went on a crusade to condemn command staff, and I
ran for sheriff.
Yeah, and I went to promote my whole platform for Cook County Sheriff, second largest county in the nation. I was very open about putting all the sheriff's deputies first, not the public. My platform, which was very public, was the public is second, because how can you, if you're an active sheriff, how can you put the public's needs first and then go back and focus on the cops? Well, we know the job is to wind up having a police force, a sheriff's department that serves the public righteously. So you have to focus on them and get all their needs first, meet all their concerns. And when the public comes up and go, I'm sorry, you are not my priority. My office, my deputies are. So it wasn't until I got non-stop bombarded because of how loud I talk, how animated I am. You think you're the expert in law enforcement. Show me one. I am an expert on fucking how to kick someone's ass. That's it. Use of force. Outside of that, I've never claimed to be an expert, but I'll take it. I mean, if people want to keep using, Izzo thinks he's an expert in the comment, you're just, okay, I am. Fine. But I never turned on cops until they have proven over and over and over again that they are some of the biggest hate-filled scumbag, just trolls who have nothing better to do but take out their frustrations while in their squad cars on other people. So
And two examples of that will easily for me are, one, why do we carry a tourniquet? To for ourselves. Our tourniquet on our person is for ourselves. So that your mindset that you have to take care of the deputies first, we have to take care of ourselves for, just like in a shooting situation or getting to a hot call. If I don't get there alive, I'm no use to you. So the same method is, if my deputies are so miserable, my agency guys are so miserable, they're not going to perform for you, the public. So you're right. You have to have a tight, and that doesn't mean crooked. That doesn't mean illegal. That doesn't mean a mafia. That means a good, well-trained core of well-minded, ready-to-work cops to do the job professionally. That core then spreads into the community, and that's the basis for probably reform of law enforcement and having that's reform of law enforcement. That's what it takes.
Could you imagine? And this was my concept for changing law enforcement, was to get elected as sheriff, and then all of a sudden, here's my position: discipline is so taught wrong or applied wrong in law enforcement. Discipline is punishment. Discipline needs to be, all right, hey, you messed up, but we're going to correct to improve you. That's the point of discipline. Could you imagine? And I explained this, and I got a lot of support for it. The more that I find out, like, you got the shittiest sheriff or shittiest cop on the department, can't stand him. Instead of disciplining the crap out of him until he retires or resigns, or you look for a reason to fire him, go, listen, I am going to do everything to make sure you need the training, you need the help, you need the equipment. I will give you every fucking thing you need. I will give you all of my attention and focus to make sure you eat until you're satiated and you can go out and do whatever you got to do. They only have one choice then. What are they going to say? Well, fuck this chief or fuck this sheriff. He only wants my betterment. He only wants me to improve. Or they're going to go, okay, you mean this is leadership that created a culture, an environment that I want to give back and contribute to? That was it. I could not believe how many cops hated me for saying we have to put them first, give them all their needs, because when you create a culture of cops who are taken care of and you raise their level of expectation, the males inside of us will meet that level of raised expectation. Because
or we'll go, or we'll quit, or we'll get ready, or we'll leave and go, you know what? This guy just gave me every opportunity to succeed, and he's right. I can't succeed anymore. But where that gets misapplied, and I hate talking about myself, but where it got misapplied in I've documented I got over punished, and so did my wife. Over punished, so blatant. And neither of us had ever been in trouble, never had any discipline. And the caveat to that is, part of our discipline at the end was retraining, because they wanted to throw that word in there. Guess what we never got?
Retraining.
We were never because there was really nothing we did to require retraining. What should have happened was exactly what you said. They should have called us in and been like, look, this didn't look the greatest. There's better ways to do it. The things they're doing for the people that are kind of like on the ends, or they don't want to discipline. But any given day, you can be on the other end of that. And that's my problem with politics and the good old boy system and the stuff we talk about. So it's tough and until you've been through it, you can look on the outside, and I've shown people what happened to me. They all go, yeah, it's pretty messed up. But until you're the guy for 6 months, and then I had like Greg Lucero on from Broward County Sheriff's Office, who sat out 3 years or at a desk. Until you've been on the other end of that, and I know you've been through it, you were fired and rehired. Until you've been through that, nobody knows what that feels like. And nobody knows how that changes your entire outlook. And the fact that we even still talk about cop stuff and still do what we do, I think speaks volumes because we should fucking hate everything about policing after the way we were treated. And that's the thing. Like, we're saying the things that need to be said, and they don't always come off nice. They're not always friendly. But if we're not debating this, and if you just have everybody, yep, the shooting's good, and then more people die, and then more shootings happen, and then the bar gets pushed further. Now they look like they were thinking about running us over, so we shot them. It still has to be debated, and there still has to be somebody to have a counter opinion to balance this all out.
I've never understood how professional athletes will sit in Monday practice and rewatch the tapes of shit. It was VHS. Every wrestling meet, we were hoping that somebody's father was there or mom, and they got the VHS, and you'd all have to share. You know, if you got 18 different wrestlers on the varsity team, well, so, it's my turn to have the tape because you wanted to see what you did. Law enforcement is one of the only professions that cannot stand having their content reviewed.
Nope. And that, and, you know, you see me all over the internet. I mean, we were talking about before the show. I'm on there for all kinds of shit, but you don't learn and that's like I said locally. God rest her soul. Deputy Terry Sweeting Mashkow, killed in the line of duty. One of my really good friends, knew her my whole life in law enforcement. One of the statements the sheriff made that still angers me is that there was nothing that could have been done differently. That is the most stupid statement ever. You don't have to nitpick. You don't have to use somebody's death to say we're gonna, like, she should have done that. I'm not talking about that. But just like use the football analogy, who blew out? Seattle blew out San Francisco the other night in football, murdered them. You know what they still did? They went and watched the entire game tapes and said, you fucked up on that play. You should have been there on that play. You blew the coverage on that play. We got to run that play. You were lazy on that play. They still break it down and say we can improve even from a blowout victory. That's the thing. You're right. Law enforcement doesn't want to look at. No.
If that was you and me, on that, and I was at the driver's side by good, and you did the shooting, I'd be looking at you afterwards going, or no, I wouldn't. You can't, right? No, I'll admit this. I wouldn't. Dude, you fucked up. Now I'm
gonna tell me that maybe later, but
drawing the Dirksen. Yeah, when I'll do it is when I get the papers to go down the Dirksen Federal Building because I'm being sued. And I go, really? But we can't go. All right, lawfully, you were justified, but you fucked up. Really, walking in front of a car, because now how they cover that is department policies of bullying and ostracization. Well, instead of improving one another, nobody has a thick fucking skin, and you're not allowed to go, dude. When you put that guy in the handcuffs and you bounced his head off the car, did you fucking need to? You can't do any of that. You can't.
Well, and then they add the duty to intervene, which now it's a law that you have to in Florida. You have to step in. And there was that video I think you posted a while where the bald-headed sergeant goes wild, and that female tries to step in, and he pushes her off down here in Florida. There's one in Florida, and there's one in. I know we've talked about one.
Well, there's one, the black girl who I did content on.
Yes. Okay. That one. There's one in Florida with a white female.
Media influencer.
And the big jacked up sergeant, bald, starts getting all rowdy and crazy. And she's like, hey, and he pushes her away. And
that was one. The other one that I did content on just goes, no, he just goes, no, don't do that. Don't do that. That's all he did. So, she claims harassment.
You have to step in sometimes and do that. But you're right. We don't want to criticize each other. And I don't know where that came from, because at the end of the day, we carry guns around and we can take people's lives, and that should be all the more reason.
You know exactly where it comes from. It comes from, we're at roll call the next day, and dude, Dilk's fucked up last night, man. I was on call, and then he wouldn't back me up. So I don't know. And then all of a sudden it spreads like wildfire because you criticized me. I'm going to talk shit about you, and then the next thing you know, everybody they're slow to answer your call. They're on a backup. They don't say shit to you. They begrudgingly stand next to you when you call for backup. You know exactly how that spreads.
Yeah, and that's and it's a shitty culture, man. It is. It's because it's not applied correctly across the board, because we know that there's people in the agency that can fuck up and nobody can say anything to them because they're having an affair with an administrator, or they're blowing the chief, or they're doing something. That is the other problem in law enforcement, and that's where the whole woman in law enforcement thing comes in, because you introduce macho-ness in the men and the women, and all that stuff starts happening, and certain people become protected, and then they can't fuck up, because if you say something, you're done. If you worked with people you could not criticize at all.
There's two ways that you really learn a skill. And the first one is by learning it, right? And I have always said, like, it didn't matter what I do. If I go, I'm really big into baking bread now. Right? It's just been my thing. I bake like a loaf of bread.
Sounds funny when you say it.
Oh yeah, I make a loaf of bread every fucking day. I'm a sourdough, but I'm not a master. So if I want to take lessons, I'm going to spend the money. I'll probably $500,000. I got to fly to Europe, and I've got to find Paul Hollywood from the Great British Baking Show, which, yes, my wife got me watching, and I'm fucking addicted to it. But he's the bread father. He is the greatest bread maker on the planet right now. So if I'm going to learn from any, I want to learn from him. The other way, then, how to actually learn the skill more is I have to teach. You have to teach it. So once you get the knowledge, when you teach it, you start to something. If my niece said, "Hey, how do I make bread?" And I go, and I just say, "Well, you got to knead it, this and that." When I'm explaining it, new things are going to pop in my head. Oh yeah, I didn't notice that I'm kneading it. This. It's how I've always taught martial arts. How you improve, you learn, and then if you really want to learn, you apply it. We don't do that in law enforcement. No. There's nobody who goes in who's 5 years on and they want to learn a new skill. So they go find the guy who's got the top DUIs, right? What do you look for your probable cause? How do you run fields? And then once you do it, then the key is, because no cops will not, or you don't go, "Hey, Mike, I just became a DUI expert. Let me teach you." You have to be open, and you have to sit there, present yourself enough to be where you come up and then go, "Hey, show me how you're knocking down all these cars." Is the biggest thing that prevents all that in law enforcement? Pride and ego, 100%.
Yeah. And I was a little guilty of that when it came to new guys, but I always wanted the new guys to learn. I mean, we had the respecting, like you had to earn your way. I'm sure you guys had that. Like you had to earn your way into like the circle. But once you're in, the ego had to go. And I had an ego, and I know you've talked about you had an ego as well. Yeah. I had an ego when I was a younger cop, and I, because we strive for the attention of the good, because normally everything we do good is just your job. Doesn't matter how great you do. You could jump the walls and rescue people. It's like, yeah, you did your job. But if you do something very minor and do something wrong, it's like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? Like, why would you do that? So I think that drives an ego where it's almost like like an abusive relationship with like, you're always trying to do something right and you never can. And that's what I think is a huge problem with law enforcement as well, is we're always striving to do something right and be recognized. And I don't think people are recognized enough for the good they do. It's kind of just glossed over.
You just said it though. Oh, you just said it though. We're always striving to do something right, not to do it well. So every cop out there will strive to be involved in an officer-involved shooting, and they want to be right, but they don't go to the range and train to make sure that they're proficient.
Well, yeah, that's a whole nother. Yes, that's a whole nother. Yes. And you know how I feel about training and jujitsu and shooting. Yes. So they're kind of, you're getting out there kind of hoping to do it right instead of preparing to do it right.
Yeah. That this law enforcement is one of the only professions, and I'm guilty of it. I talk about it all the time. Firearms is not my fucking forte. I love going hands on. And when it came down to the range, pass or fail. Yeah. And it's like, I would always get, "Hey, we got qualification next month." Shit, I got to go to the range. So you jam in two range days before then, hoping you get the pass or fail. And I'm like, how irresponsible of this is to me that I'm relying on pass or fail when shouldn't I get 100% at the range? Because I know I'd want to go at 50 to have open heart surgery and have a surgeon who's like, "Yeah, I got pass or fail." Okay, cool. It's the only profession that we allow that shit.
No, I know, because I didn't, and I think we talked about this. That didn't open my eyes until I became a range instructor, and I saw people show up, and I'm like, your optic battery's dead. So when's the last time you looked through your optic on your gun? Your gun light is dead.
My gun was filthy. My phone was every dust in the rear side aperture and shit. I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, we had our pistols drawn 2-3 times a week, all the time, whatever. And I only had my finger on the trigger once. And after that moment, I'll never forget that moment. I went, well, thank God he surrendered, because could I hit the fucking target?
Yeah, and in today's world, we didn't have the information, and not to say it's an excuse, but we didn't have the information we have now. The information is in front of us all day on Instagram: shooting, use of force, cop getting their ass whooped, bad traffic stop, somebody violating the Fourth Amendment, somebody violating this First Amendment. Like, we see it all the time, and you would think that would lead cops to go, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy.
Has the laws that protected them, cops, have they changed?
No.
But
I mean,
but the availability of
of
shit that comes out and the standards have lowered. So
correct.
we are now putting shittier, more dangerous cops on the street, and they're
Mhm.
still fucking protected.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, my agency cut jujitsu out of the budget. You cut it. You cut something that absolutely should be there. We still see the pepper spray videos from the academy where they get sprayed and they yell, "Get back," and they go knee the bag 5 times and swing a stick 5 times. And it's like, we knew that was wrong 25 years ago when I did it. And we did it, and we did it, and we did it. And 25 years later, with all the data and research and everything we see, we're still doing it. We're still doing it.
Cops need better training than
Yeah,
40
they do.
years later, and you still hear cops need better training.
Yeah, and I went on, and everybody's got their opinion about Dennis from, Street Cop Training, but one of the first podcasts I did when I came out was with him, and we talked excessively about the failure of the police academies not getting up to speed with the red. We all see it. We see it every day. How can they not keep up and go, "You think we should still be swinging this stick around, this rubber fucking asp, the fake asp?" And
They still do. Don't they still do PR-24?
yeah,
training?
I don't think they don't do anything.
Oh, I bet you they do.
Somebody does, but the asp, like break a window, maybe closed, like
I
maybe.
told you, I had a monadnock baton with the extended tip because we didn't use the asps, because if you hit the asp hard enough, they'll collapse. They got the friction
Mhm.
lock. The only time, well, I've used it twice, and once was to pry a guy's arm from underneath him. Actually worked great, but every other time was to close the vent on the other side.
That's right.
When the AC was blowing too hard. Back, and I couldn't get in the back scratch. But no,
I used to be able to get it. I used to be able to get it down my back. I don't think I ever used it. Maybe once. I think I grabbed the guy around the. I shouldn't even say it. I think I grabbed the guy around the throat with it. I pulled him in.
Oh,
but
well, that's a tactic.
And I smashed a window with it once. I used not extended, but used it to break. So, and then the other drama I saw, Mike the cop. Tell me about that.
Oh my God. I should be, it's all advertising, is what it is. But I said, I asked you privately a couple days ago, I'm like, who's this? His podcast, and I'll plug him. I don't get on your show if that's okay.
I don't care.
It's uncensored, and I'm wrong, with the Mike the Cop. Uncensored with the Mike the Cop.
That's me too. I'm Mike the Cop.
Back
I'm not the Mike the Cop though, right?
I actually I've met the real Mike the Cop. We actually spoke at an event in Michigan in 2016. Anyways, when I was in California, I get an email from a Michael J. Burke inviting me on his podcast to talk about the Renee Good shooting, and I simply responded, "I've made all the statements that I'm going to make, and I appreciate it, but no, I'm not interested." The next thing you know, I got more to say about Renee Good, and I'm saying. All of a sudden, next thing I know, I got it's typical in my comment section. Oh, I guess Izzo's too afraid to come on and debate. Okay, that reverse psychology.
Is this the Mike the Cop, the one with all the followers?
No, that's not that.
Oh, okay.
No, that's not. No, this is where I'm going. This is where I'm going.
Okay.
So Mike the Cop. Mike the Cop is Mike the Cop.
That's Mike Edwards, right?
Yeah, they're the ones who pretty much pioneered social media for long.
They were the first guy. Okay.
I have no problem with Mike the Cop. I don't know him. I've met him. We did an event together a long time ago. Is what it is. We don't even really follow. We don't even follow.
Some nobody reached out to you.
So a Michael J. Burke, reached out. And now all of a sudden my comments, and all of a sudden there's memes of me being a blue falcon and all this and blah, blah. So I emailed the guy last night and I said, listen, I get what you're trying to do. I said, I have had so many cops over the years who have had podcasts or whatnot, and they've dogged me out, try to do whatever. I said, just to let you know, I've outlasted every fucking one of them. They're gone. One is now detailing cars in New York. Fucking David Chianese, you cuck, and all that stuff, right? And here we are. It's like I said, all you had to do was tell me you wanted me to promote your stuff, and I would have done it. I don't care if you hate me, great. If you disagree with me, great. Don't fucking get personal. That's all I ask. Don't get fucking personal. So that's it. He responds back with, in the comments, that in my DMs, he doesn't care about my background or if I got fired or anything. Doesn't matter to him. Blah, blah, blah. Well, if it doesn't matter to him, fine. Why you call me a blue falcon? All this shit. So I looked And I looked,
I
and if
saw
you
it.
look
I saw
up,
it. Yeah.
I did a content on him showing how he's disheveled as shit and unorganized. And it's like, dude, fucking, you got 230 people watching your podcast.
The
Maybe.
setup was great. It's like,
So I
here it
apologize.
comes. Here it
Which
comes.
which the Mike, the regular Mike the cop,
Okay.
he commented, you know, I accept your apology on my shit this
Okay.
morning.
That's what I you know how it is on social media. You catch this comment, you catch this reel, and you're like, is he fighting with Mike the cop?
No,
I'm sure
no.
you've talked about him before, but
I
this
have
is
nothing against the real Mike the cop.
Mike
No,
the cop.
no.
Okay.
Mike the cop has always been good to me. I've
He
said it
was
for
one of the
years.
first like TikTok, like
Yes.
social media guys, right? Ever.
Him and Daniels, and I will say this: I've never met Daniels. The day that I got fired from my department, Daniels was the only fucking cop across the world, not even my coworkers, who reached out to me, said, "You okay? You need anything?" So that guy will always have
Which one's Daniels?
Officer Daniels.
I don't know if I follow him.
Yeah, so he will always have my respect.
Good. All right. Topic of the day.
Yeah.
Discretion on traffic stops with citations. I've heard you talk about it.
Mhm.
I'm going to listen. I want to hear your stance on it, and I'm going to give you my stance on it, and then we can discuss it.
Yeah, I stopped discretion.
Okay.
I started it because it was my demeanor, right? Towards the end of my career, I looked at in the beginning and in the middle, I was a machine. Everybody got a ticket. And yeah, if you were nice to me, I let you go. It was very simple. I have very specific memories. I can still see their faces today of this bitch is getting written for everything. And now all of a sudden, I'm going to keep you on a 45-minute traffic stop because you didn't use your turn signal, and I'm writing 15 tickets. And I don't know how you guys did it. We still wrote them. We were still paying.
We wrote them up until about 4 or 5 years ago.
I wish to God.
Right on out.
And we had the racial profiling bias, which started in like 04, which
keep
turned
track
out
of every person and every color and every
which was a lie. Started out of Highland Park, Illinois. Anyways, so towards the end, it partly became a war with my command staff to where, you know, we found out our body cameras were recording us. So we were suing them and all this shit. And I'm like, why the fuck am I knocking everybody down? You know, if I knock them down, I'm going to issue a warning. So literally I did. I got a write-up one day. I come in and there's a memo from the to me or to see me to from deputy chief saying, write me an explanation why you did not issue a class C misdemeanor arrest for the driver on this, pull the CAD number, who was doing 55 miles an hour in a 30. And there was a BMW, guy was lost, all this kind of stuff and this and that. And explain to me why you didn't issue arrest and told the car all this stuff. And I simply wrote back, I chose to exercise officer discretion. That was it. That was it. Fucking never heard a word from it. But in the end, I started to look at, and I was influenced greatly by Sheriff Richard Mack. And Sheriff Richard Mack was the president of the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. And I'm not saying he said this, but I started to look at, okay, if I issue a citation and that person has to go to court, they have to take the day off work. Court's on a Monday for me. It's always on Monday or whatever the day. I think it was the first Monday of the month. They're gonna if they have to pay fines, they have to pay the ticket. I started to look at was it worth their speeding? Is that not a violation of the Constitution and excessive fines? I started to look at it that way. So I started going, well, if I stop you, you're doing 35 over, and I go, now all of a sudden it becomes my demeanor. Hey, what, dude? You are hauling ass. Do me a favor. I'm going to issue a warning if you clear. And I always had a tactic for shit. Give me your license and insurance, you know, and the whole time I'm doing my spiel, I'm always looking, because if I'm in an arrest, I want to see the drugs. I want to look for other shit. I want to smell the weed, all that crap. But if it's just for a traffic violation, I wanted to build a bridge with relationships and go, you know, do me a favor. You got a heavy fucking foot. I'm going to go back. As long as you got no warrants or bombs, weapons of mass destruction in the car, I'm going to set you loose. It'll take about 5 minutes. When you get to the other town, crumple it up. And if you want to throw it out the window, I can't stop you, but it goes nothing on your record. If I stopped you and I addressed it, I solved the problem. I stopped you from speeding. I have zero control, either writing a warning and writing a warning or writing a ticket, sending you to court. You can go in the next town, fucking speed again. It doesn't serve anything. So I started to go, it was just for me personally as a choice going, if I'm going to write or arrest, there has to be some serious issue here that needs to be documented. And that's the way I looked at it.
Okay. Now, I've heard you say, and correct me if I'm wrong though, their demeanor, you're saying shouldn't affect the outcome of the traffic stop. So if you walk
Correct.
up to the window and they say, "Hey, pussy ass cracker, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. Give me my ticket." Or, "How you doing, sir? I'm so sorry I was speeding." Your stance is that those two contacts should go exactly the same.
100%, because A, it's free speech, and B, we know that they're saying, "Oh my gosh, officer, I'm so sorry." They're trying to get out of it. It's a moot point. It is
Okay.
literally you're bowing to my will.
Okay.
I cannot stand that power. I'm
Okay.
being
And
dead
here
serious.
and this is the way I look at it. I look at it a little differently as if and that guy that starts out that conversation like that, that doesn't mean he's still getting a ticket. My version of it, and this requires this requires a brain and um not being the cops that we kind of talk about that have like ill intentions. My version is if I stop you, and I'm not talking about bowing down to me, but if we can come to an agreement that you shouldn't have been doing what you were doing because I saw you do it, and I figure think talking to you is just all the things you said. It's better than going to court, you taking the day off, you getting a fine, points going up, your insurance going up, you fucking hate cops. If I feel like our conversation can get there, that is to me is what a warning is for. And I don't it doesn't have to do with how it starts or how it finishes. It have to do with can I get the corrective measure across through conversation. Now, again, you have to have a brain and you have to be not ill-intended when this happens. But that was my version. I went, if I write this guy a ticket and the person that apologized up front could still get it with their shitty attitude, or if they had 5 speeding tickets before, they're getting another one. They obviously haven't learned. My version was, is this contact, regardless of the outcome, going to affect that person's want to not drive the same way? That's how I looked at it. So if
This
you
is
were
my
a
own
dick,
this is
okay,
my own pushback to that. Is it the job of the American police officer to correct, modify, change the behavior of a driver?
I think part of it, yes. It's not when you, yes, I think it is actually,
And
honestly.
that's
Let
that
me finish. Yeah,
is
yeah.
true.
I think it is because just like the Dare program, we were supposed to teach kids not to do drugs, right? It didn't work, but we were supposed to. I don't think it's the right to correct somebody when I say, I want you to vote Democrat or Republican, or I want you to um, do this, or I want you to join this club. But when it comes to the laws, some of our responsibility is like, hey, what if the seatbelt law changed and nobody saw it? I didn't fucking know. Florida, when I started, you didn't have to wear a seatbelt. It was a non-criminal, non-moving violation. Couldn't even pull somebody over for it. Now it is. In that first month, 2 months, 5 months, hey man, you have to wear your seatbelt. I didn't know that. Okay, well, I feel like now you do. You don't get a ticket. Versus, hey man, you're not wearing. Fuck you, bitch. Well, like, hey man, let me explain to you what. Fuck you, bitch. Well, I'm trying to tell you the law changed, so you don't. Fuck you. Okay, you know what? My opinion, that guy is not going to benefit from me going, hey sir, the law changed. I need you to wear your seatbelt. Versus the guy that goes, oh, dude, I didn't know that. Could they be completely fabricating, blowing me? They could. Could there be 2 kilos in the back? And they're like, sorry, officer, that you're right. But that's my version of why discretion is somewhat important, because we still should educate people, and the citation shouldn't be the only education, or the warning shouldn't be the only education. Sometimes the conversation has to be the education.
I struggle with it, which is why I changed exactly how I policed in the end, which was, and it was a struggle with my ego going, I have so much fucking power. And you could ruin somebody's day. So then I'm like, okay, am I good? Is it my will? I want to teach you a lesson. And I really was pissed off at that. I was having an inner struggle with, it's not my job to correct their behavior. They can go to court and correct it. The court and the judge corrects it. So I changed it to where I changed what I was not, I changed why I knocked people down. So
Okay.
there were times when I was actively looking for the drugs, the warrants, the arrests.
Yeah.
If that's the case, everything. I pulled over people for everything.
Yes. Yes.
Your tires
Yep.
touched the little yellow line.
Yep.
But I knew if unless it resulted in a consent search or an arrest, I'm not wasting my time. I'm not
Correct.
wasting.
I feel the same way. I'm not writing a warning. No, I'm writing a warning, and you're out of there because I want to go find dope.
But on the other side of it, when I knew I feel like writing tickets today, and your tires touched the line, I didn't bother with it. I went for the blatant things that you could not argue against. It's not like it was 45 and you were doing 52. It's you were doing 57, you were doing 60, or your seatbelt wasn't on and it was clear as day. That's the shit where I went black and white. Okay. I'm writing a citation.
I guess that's just two different. I mean, and I don't think we're either of us are wrong in our argument. I think we're just different. We police differently. I never stopped anybody. I'll be honest with you. I never ran radar or stopped anybody going, I'm going to write this person a ticket because they're going to. I guess I never cared. I was a dope cop. And we've already talked about how we were just totally different cops.
I did. And that was my whole thing, was that it is a part of a system because you're part of a chain, a nexus that corrects somebody's behavior. The problem I have is when you ask a cop, is it your job to correct the behavior? I have to teach them. I have to show them.
Okay. No, that's a very that answer in and of itself is wrong. I agree with you, but I think that traffic stop is an opportunity to educate. I don't have to change your mind, but there's certain things we can't discuss. The speed limit is 70. If you're going 90, there's no mind to change. You can't go 90. If the law says you have to wear a seatbelt, I'm not trying to change your mind whether or not it's right because some fucking legislator decided it was the right thing to do. When we were kids, we fucking rolled around the back seat and in the back of trucks with no seatbelts, and nobody cared. Somebody decided to care. So when I guess when I say educate, I don't mean, I'm not trying to, like, again, change your mind on the outcome. Did we land on the moon or anything like that? I'm telling you, this is the law. I want you to understand that this is, for like what you said, I don't want you to go to the next town and get stopped and get another ticket. So I'm going to give you a warning because you're receptive to what I'm telling you. And that's different from the stop where I'm going,
delivery.
Find dope.
Is there a difference between 21-year-old Michael Dilks and 50-year-old Michael Dilks?
Yes, of course there is.
Now, one more. Is there a difference between Michael Dilks' style and Fridays with Frank?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, everybody's different, but I think so. Obviously, that's why discussion is important, because it's still not a one-stop shop. Because if done correctly, and you're right, the guy that doesn't want to talk to the cops does not deserve a ticket because he goes, "Hey, dude, here's my license. I have nothing to say to you." That guy doesn't get a ticket just because he doesn't want to talk to me. He might get a ticket because when I try to explain to him that you can't go 90, in 7, whatever, and he's like, "I don't care." Well, okay, I get it. You don't have to like me, but I want you to understand this. Maybe you didn't see the sign. I don't give a shit. Like that's what I'm talking about. Not
there's only two ways to completely eliminate that problem, and that is to do like the state police do, and you assign a traffic car, and that car issues every citation imaginable. Or you go to like the future, 50 years from now, when all flying cars are monitored by whatever.
You get one in the mail.
That's it.
Yeah. All right, 1 second. I'm gonna bring Jimmy in real quick. Jimmy, your mic is off.
Hey guys,
there it is.
Yeah,
how's it going, Jimmy?
I gotta remember to hit it. I gotta hit the unmute button in 2 places.
Never forget to hit it. Hit it. So Jimmy's live tonight at 8 p.m. on the Shadowcast. What's on the menu tonight, Jimmy?
Well, we had a bit of a food fight this morning.
Yeah, we did.
And so didn't do a Shadowcast Tuesday because I was obviously out of town. So I think I'm really going to cover hey, what we talked about today, and I think we need to give a little bit more depth to Elizabeth because she's very smart, but she sort of overtakes the conversation.
Yeah, you'd like her, Don. If you haven't seen anything from this morning, Don, when Tyler puts that reel out, what's her name? Elizabeth what?
Elizabeth Lane.
Yeah, Elizabeth Lane. She's from Georgia, the country of Georgia, and she's been on Tucker Carlson. She's been with Alex Jones. She's been on some pretty big platforms, and she has a pretty unique stance on immigration. And I think you guys would actually, Dom, I think that would be a great conversation. Her and Dom.
Two Dom would be much better suited at dealing with her.
Yes.
Because we are nice dudes. We were very polite.
He's saying you're not nice, Dom.
Dom is very used to
Dominic.
This.
God damn it! Watch
Dominic. You have to call Dominic.
We had a discussion.
He missed the beginning.
Don't worry about it. It's okay.
My fault.
So she's a lot like Dominic, but except with a, I guess I can't call it a Russian accent, like a.
But I think accent.
Did she say kurva at all during the interview? That would have been great.
Dude, you'll have to go back and watch it. The chat was fucking ridiculous.
It was good. So, all right, you guys do not forget to tune in as soon as we are ended here. Jimmy goes live on Counterculture with the Shadowcast Live in
Just
about 10 minutes.
Put the word out. We're back
Yes,
up.
sir. And we'll be live tomorrow, 11 a.m. with the broadcast, like always. See you in a little bit, Jim.
All right, brother.
All right, bye. Jimmy didn't get the memo about
I
Dominic.
don't. That's it is what it is.
No, it's funny though. It's funny because Jimmy's gonna be upset that he said it. He's gonna fucking lose. He's gonna lose sleep over it. Yeah, she was a pretty unique guest. The only thing I didn't like was she shit on America. Let me put in my words. She came to America when she was young, like 18, and she stayed here. But then she tried to like argue with me that it's not a great country. And I'm like, well, then why the fuck are you here? And she kind of kicked back with, just because people stay here, it doesn't mean it's a great country. And I agree, but it's like, if it's so bad, like I get the like Mexicans coming in and all of South America, they live in a third world country. They come across the border. Even the bad conditions for them are better than what they came from. She's coming from Georgia, which is a very nice country. That whole area over there, now that everything's settled. But she never went back. And it was like, I don't know that you can shit on the country you decided to stay in, make money, and have a huge platform in. And now you have all these big guests. It was like, so it was an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
You'd like her for sure.
I'll take a look.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to tell you a funny story because my wife said it was okay. And you're going to like this.
She in the kitchen right now making your sandwich for
No, she's not. We settle in the other night. In the when the door's locked and the dogs aren't in the room, if you can imagine what happens then.
Yeah.
Okay. And she's like, babe, I'm tired. And I said, that's cool. I said,
all day was she talking about how
No. She was working all day. She was tired. She worked. And I said, this is the one-liner she dropped at me. She said, do you mind if I just XYZ?
Sure.
And I said, I'll take a hand job. She said, damn, dude, you're ordering off the dollar menu tonight. dude, I'm like, what the fuck did you just say? I couldn't believe it. And it was so good. We laughed. And I'm like, well, now it's going to take me 10 minutes to get that thought out of my head.
Oh my God.
And then I forgot completely all about it. And I'm walking the dogs tonight right before the show. And I'm like, one person on earth that'll exactly react how I thought you would. I said, damn. I said, I don't know if she'll let me tell Dom on the air. I said, I was going to tell you either way, but I asked her when she got home. I said, can I tell the dollar menu story? She's like, I don't give a fuck what you say. So
that's her attitude.
Unsolicited, out of left field. I said, yeah, I'll just take a hand job, like anything.
I'm hoping she goes the route that we've talked about offline for post.
Yes.
She will
light. Well, I can tell you
up
that
with people.
I will tell you that, like everything else she does, the second she enrolled in those 3 classes, it's the way we're addicted to like this shit.
Mm-hmm.
There's a quiz. Shh, I'm taking a quiz. Oh, this quiz got to be graded. Oh, I got a 97 on this quiz. Like it is like that with, you know how she is, high strung. Everything's the standard. Everything's important. So I see her now enrolled in school, taking 3 classes while working for an agency and another company, training jujitsu and everything, going to the gym. On top of all that, just dedicated, and it's hilarious to watch now. The new challenge is how high the grades go. I give a shit about school. If I got a D or a C, I was fucking happy. Like on to the next one. But it's pretty neat to see her enrolled now and doing that. But I figured you would enjoy the dollar menu. She said, "Damn, bro, you're willing to order off the dollar menu tonight." And I started thinking about a McChicken or a fucking cheap McDonald's.
Well, the McRib.
Yeah. So. All right, what else?
Did you see that there's a story coming out? This is from the Real State of America. This was their post. Is that Palantir? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Palantir, Palntir, is reportedly developing a tool for ICE that displays a map of potential deportation targets, allowing agents to pull up detailed profiles on individuals and assign a quote confidence score, estimate how likely each person is to be at a given address. I can't picture this ever being applied to citizens by law.
It's already there, dude. And I talked about the one from last week. Penlink already does it with that came out. The government they spent $25 billion with a B dollars this year on software to track immigration. And if they're doing it to immigrate, we accidentally grabbed a couple of citizens in there. We accidentally Somebody says Plantier was marking hits for Israel and Gaza. Who owns that company? Interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the Patriot Act's still around, right? It's been how long?
2001. So
Yeah.
when did it come into play?
A few years later, but here we are. I can tell you, I know for a fact they can do whatever they want, because when I was going back in some of my documents for when I was investigated, that was back in 2012. It was alleged that I was intercepted. When you're intercepted, if others don't know, if you're intercepted in any way, shape, or form on a federal or state wiretap, if you talk, easy example, your long guy is a drug smuggler and he's been listened to by the feds, and you call your long guy and say, "Hey man, can you hit the bushes tomorrow? Trim up this, trim up that." Yes, sir. When that case is disclosed or done and fold, they have like 90 days to send every single person a letter that says, "Hey, by the way, we intercepted your conversation," regardless of what it was for. Could have been the long guy. In my file, there is talk of a federal investigation that's been sealed, untalked about, sealed, and no one's ever been notified, where I was intercepted on somebody else's case. Don't know if that's a crooked cop. Don't know if it's a politician. Don't know if it's my long guy. Don't know who it was. But they have sealed it, and this has been 13 years.
Oh
14 years.
People
and it's
have
still,
no idea.
and the way they get around that is, here's the simplest word: corruption. If they call it corruption, that's an ongoing investigation. So if we're investigating Don for corruption and it cools off, and it's been 3 years since we've had any conversation about corruption, but then 5 years from now, he might say it again, or he might do something again. So we have to keep that sealed so nobody knows we investigated it, and then they can reopen it. So that's
I
how
wonder
the
how
feds
many
get around it.
FBI's have files on me like this. Yeah, enjoy it, gents. The tactics that are going to be that right now, and it's sad. It's sad to see conservatives, MAGA, Republicans actually so hell bent on the generalization of deporting criminals that they're willing to do anything by any means necessary. There was a press conference by two different chiefs saying that, and here's the conundrum, and this is why I have to wonder what it's like to be a police supporter. And you ever see the Spider-Man meme where everyone's pointing to each other? Okay. You have the police chief of Minneapolis who hired non-U.S. residents.
Mhm.
He's got I can't remember what her status is, female, Hispanic, couple of Somalis, and non-residents being hired. You fast forward to ICE doing their job, trying to get rid of illegal immigrants. ICE now has been targeting people because of the color of their skin and their accents. Literally, they can. It's out there. And then we have off-duty cops saying they were pulled over by ICE, targeted by their skin color, and demanded IDs with guns pointed in their faces, and they've refused until it's like, okay, fine. Who do you support as a bootlicker? Who?
Yeah, sounds a lot like some other countries years ago. Yeah, it's such a tough topic because you're right. It has to be done. But just like we fell for COVID, are we falling for another dupe under the guise of we're getting rid of illegal immigrants, but we're going to bolster ICE to the point that it's so massive, so big? Could they use it for ulterior motives?
I want to see ICE try this in like Dallas or any, because Texas, I think, has a lot of Hispanics there.
Oh, I looked up San Antonio for a marketing thing today, and San Antonio is 70% Hispanic and like 30% white.
Your state, how would your state, do you have any Hispanics in your state?
Yeah, we're huge. Our county's huge.
So I want to see what happens when ICE decides to come into like Polk County and do their job the way that they're doing it with Grady Judd, who has no body cameras. Everybody's loving this for right now because it's literally just in a Democrat city. But again, when has any power ever been relinquished? Once it's given.
Well, that's where the Democrat. That's where we'll find out the Democrat versus Republican, how real it is. Obviously, if the Democrats win the White House back, you would
every Republican better expect this. If you're not watching the MAGA conservatives who are condemning these people open carrying now, arrest them. It's like Kyle Rittenhouse, what?
Yeah.
Fucking McCloskey's what? I'm so blown away with how stupid everybody is right now.
Yeah, and what Biden weaponized with the IRS. And that was like, okay. And he got away with it. Nobody really got real crazy about the IRS. They had what, 20 some thousand agents when
80.
he was in?
No, they went to 80. I think they hired, the thing was he was going to hire 80,000 new agents.
To look at your taxes.
Yep.
To look at your taxes. Now you have the other administration hiring immigration. But what happens when they go, all right, immigration's under control. What else can we do? What else can we do?
I got a question.
We got to do something. Good.
I got a question. Now, I know that you should have people who are familiar with your culture going in. You don't want me tracking down Somalis. What do I know about them? So we got a lot of suspiciously brown, heavily accented ICE agents, right?
Yes.
Does anybody remember 4 years ago plus with every conservative screaming, they're sending over military-aged men?
Yeah.
Where'd they all go? Unless they got hired by the federal government. And now that's why they wear masks, so nobody can see what their identity is.
So you're saying we could have
cartel
immigrants in
members.
ICE.
We could have fucking cartel members work. You don't know. You have no idea. Isn't it amazing how every conservative is anti-human trafficking and ICE is just going on the street, swooping motherfuckers up and disappearing them?
Yeah. And think about, you see those raids and then you have like 30 guys still sitting in the cars that never get out on a lot of these ones you see. And they're just sitting in the car. But you're right. There's a lot of Hispanic or brown people in masks with ICE vests and guns and wrangling people up. That's an interesting point. Nobody seems to care. As long as they're grabbing the illegals we know are illegal, right? The ones that are out there running around taking their jobs or taking our jobs. As long as they're grabbing those ones, we don't care, right?
All how they say it. ICE put up some picture of a guy the other day. He's like, this guy has dangerous drugs on his criminal history. And I'm like, in Illinois, cannabis is considered a dangerous drug. And he's got an arrest arrest for assault. Well, assault battery. If I put my finger on your chest and go away, that's literally, assault. Yeah. So it's like it blows me away. They'll arrest 3,000 fucking people and pick like 7 horrible people. It's like, and conservatives like, get those motherfuckers out of here. Screw those other 2,993 fucking innocent people.
I guess the saddest part is that we have to have this conversation because our government got to this point. That's my biggest point in this is it's tough to find the right answer when we have been duped so many times into where we stand right now.
That's the problem is Kristi Noem keeps going back to, well, Biden allowed this, Biden. Okay. So we had a problem. That's fine. You can support. I think every single illegal immigrant should be 100% deported. I do not agree with the head of ICE who looks like fucking Himmler walking around. He looks like fucking Goebbels walking around. And
that jacket he wore the other day was a terrible idea.
Hugo Boss my ass, motherfucker. I don't agree with how ICE is doing it. And every time people say, well, nobody protested when Bush did it, Clinton did it, and
it's being done. It is being done a different way.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that jacket he chose the other day and the way he walked around the other, we covered on Anti-Hero. He looked a lot like an Austrian painter from years ago walking around. So, all right, Dom, I appreciate it. You'll be live, Friday night?
I think I see Kyle over there. We're just here to deport.
Another amazing episode of Hot Topic. Thank you, Dom. We'll see you next week.